pulling a naval veteran, no criminal record over. She's at a checkpoint, warrantless checkpoint. They want to search her. She says no. They get her out of the car. She doesn't resist. They charge her with resisting. And they find a pocket constitution, and like they were Sirhan brainwashed or something, where you show a crazy person a tomato, and if they're trained to fear it, they'll cower in the corner. They start going, I can't believe it. And you think it's a Monty Python skit. You're like, you guys swore an oath to this, a pocket constitution. And they're literally going, we got one of them, I can't believe it, paraphernalia. And she's in the squad car, but they're out front, the squad car, behind her car, going through the trunk, and they find a Harrison Ford Patriot Games VHS, and they're like, Patriot. I mean, it's in Road to Tyranny. People always hear this and don't believe me, and you'll watch Road to Tyranny and actually see it. I mean, imagine grown men going, I mean, this is, it's like, look, a mouse. And they're like, it's, look, a bird in a tree. But they haven't been trained to fear that. It's like, well, I've got FEMA on tape to a huge classroom of police and firefighters and sheriff's deputies going, who are the #1 terrorists in our history? And the cops are like, George Washington. He's like, good. You recognize the threat in the enemy. That's right. These are bad people. They were bad, and the people that like them are bad. You see the cops all going, that's right. Yeah, I'm good. And you think you're watching a joke. It's not a joke. I mean, these are Red Dawn enemies. I mean, these people actually believe America is bad. They believe they're defending America by going after the heart of America. I just can't believe we found this. Is it legal to have this? He says to his supervising state police guy, and he's like, I don't know. She may be allowed to have that. And then he starts thinking, he goes, that might be what she's talking about. Because one of the cops actually gets embarrassed. He goes, well, maybe that's what she's talking about, her rights. Maybe she's allowed to have that. The smart one says, maybe she's allowed to have a pocket constitution. One of the ones we sell. I mean, the radiation levels have gone up. And instead of testing the milk and the food and destroying what's dangerous, they just say, we'll just say it's safe. And we'll say George Washington's bad. I mean, look, right now I'm letting into my mind. This is why when that state police guy pulled me over last week and was trying to search the car and stuff, I just started not even yelling at him. I was like, you know the government ships most of the drugs in. You know that's a bottle of water sitting right there. You're trying to act like I've done something wrong in some little mind game with yourself, like I'm the bad guy and you're the good guy. I said, I want to search your car. Statistically, government's the most dangerous group out there. I said, my God, do you know your whole future is going to be destroyed by the system you're helping bring in? And at the end, he just kept going, I'm now going to test your tent. If it's below 25, you get a ticket. And it goes to 29. He goes, I guess you're okay. And he just keeps going and smiling at me. And in the end, he goes, I like your radio show, especially the Sunday one. Bye-bye. I mean, it was Twilight Zone. I'm looking in this guy's eyes who's totally compartmentalized. He has no future under the New World Order. They're putting poison in your water, buddy boy. You think that's funny? I guarantee you, if that state police guy, let's say was in a restaurant, he came out of the bathroom and saw me putting something in his drink, he would run and tackle me. If I resisted, punch me in the head, and he should. If somebody do it to me, I would. They would drag me out, put me in a squad car, test it, and even if it was not poisonous, I'd get in trouble, and should. But if it was poisonous, I would go to jail for 20 years. But the globalists do it, and it's like, well, that's the government. See, that's why I say I can't play along with you anymore. I can't play along like America's okay and everything's fine and let's all just go back to sleep. This is not entertainment. This show is not about ratings and being a big shot and all of this baloney. You notice I haven't talked about Herman Cain and his zipper today because they're about to try to start war with Iran. They're trying to get rid of Posse Comitatus. They're openly moving to take people's bank accounts and pension funds. They're GMOing all the crops. I've got all the studies how it's hurting people. Just type in GMO link to organ failure, infertility. You'll get all the major scientific studies. We're being killed by psychopaths. I'm right. I've got the facts in triplicate, stacked on triplicate, stacked on triplicate, and I'm being pulled over just randomly. Or who knows, they probably got GPS on my car. I don't know. And given 20 questions and white glove inspected. And I looked at the guy and I said, I know full well you guys are told to let illegals go for drunk driving, no insurance, you name it. But you're told to throw the book at us. And he goes, well, I don't like that. I agree with you. I go, you agree with me? But you're here checking my window tint? I went, hey, Bubba, I bought this car at the dealership. But so what? So what if I had tint that was too dark? While all these massive crimes are completely ignored, the system is busy coming down on the general public like a ton of bricks. Get your priorities straight. And I know the argument is, well, we're just following orders. Well, that's what they said in Germany. And the Nuremberg defense does not work. It's just comical that I don't break any laws, even the stupid ones. I've got a pretty boring life outside of research and broadcasting, and I get pulled over routinely. And I see more cops than ever pulling people over, and it's all a big joke. It's all a big joke. You're not doing anything for the safety and security of this country. You're not peace officers. You're errand boys. You're not even there to raise money. You guys are told you've got to run everybody in the ground and do all this to raise money. Folks, the globalists can issue all the money they want. You're there to train everybody to have constant interaction with uniforms and to be searched and to have our bodies touched so that we can be forcibly inoculated. That's what all this is about. It's all about acclimation. And you know what? You will pay just as bad as anybody else for what you're helping bring in. You will. Because your wife and your children are going to live in this world. And look, I get it. I know society's degenerating. It's not just the government and the police that are degenerating. The public looks like they've been shot by a mutation ray or something. Because they've been chemically, biologically, electronically, absolutely hammered. Now, getting back to the NDAA situation, then I'll give the number out and take your calls while Tarpley joins us in about 50 minutes. Getting back into this, within this story you learn so much. The bill clearly is the classic Patriot Act or John Warner Defense Authorization Act or Enemy Commissions Act model. It says in bold, this will not be used on U.S. citizens. And then you go down a couple sections, and we have it in the article, unless the government says so. It's the fine print. And that's why the ACLU, Ron Paul, Infowars.com, Congressman Amish, and others have all come out and quoted the same section and said, no, this affects citizens. Of course it does. They use the previous acts to kill U.S. citizens. And they say, well, it's Anwar al-Awlaki. By the way, I predicted they would, quote, say he'd been killed. They'd said he'd been killed 5 times before that, at least. You know, he's the #1 in al-Qaeda. Some argued he was #2, #3, who dined secretly at the Pentagon while he was on the FBI's most wanted list. The guy that runs all the real nutcase Muslim extremists, like Hassan, like Muttalib, the underwear bomber, the Times Square bomber, the shoe bomber. Yeah, the idiots that don't know, you think you light plastic explosives. It's on record that he's CIA and was trying to provocateur as many people as he could. I mean, al-Qaeda works for the people that run our country. That's why they've been given Libya. They've been brought into Syria. It's in mainstream news. They're being landed and brought in, and then the West is going to call them freedom fighters and bomb the country into the Stone Age and call it freedom and peace and say, this is not military. Now send 3,000 Saudis in there. Sorties. Send in the bombers, blow the daylights out of it. It's peace. I mean, raise the radiation levels. It's healthy. Bombing countries is peace. Al-Qaeda's good. George Washington's bad. Ugh, I mean, it just Twilight Zone crazy. I mean, you're living in the Twilight Zone. I'm living in it. It's crazy. It's going to get crazier. Tyranny is crazy. Nero chewing children's throats out is crazy. Caligula marrying his horse and making it the head of the Senate is crazy. Hitler running around doing it is crazy. But it's what they do. Mao killing 60+ million people because he wanted to. That's pretty crazy. But they're going to do it. So, and people won't wake up to them, so it's all going to happen. They could coat cyanide pills in American flags, and American women would give them to their children, even though they knew it was going to kill them. Well, it's an American flag, die, you know. My child's dead, but it was an American flag. You're not against the American flag, are you? Literal mind control, literal trance. And the minute I was reading the ACLU article, who I don't particularly like because they don't defend real liberties, but they did get it right on this. I noticed that article had gone up on their site, and we'd posted it, and I saw within minutes staged attack pieces saying it wasn't true, quoting the false provision. Within minutes. There was no way people had already found that and had that. So I said, okay, and we went and checked some IPs. It was the standard government people. And we're like, okay, they don't even try to hide it. They don't care. They have total disdain. I'm going to do a report on this soon. I've just been so busy. And again, we're being engaged here. They don't just admit it up front. They deceive their enemy, the American people. It's all military deception. They deceive the troops. It's all a culture of lies. Who's the father of lies? That they sell you the end justifies the means. That's their big trick in compartmentalization. And so I had Watson write an article, and within 2 minutes of it going live, dozens of comments with the section saying I'm a liar, saying it's not true. But our listeners by themselves went and found the sections that said that it was exempted, though, that the exemption was exempted, and defeated them. And that's what feels good. They could kill me right now. The truth goes on. We've taught people the enemy's tricks. Folks have learned them on their own. But Rand Paul has come out and said, yes, it does affect Americans. The head of the Japanese-American League, Citizens League, has come out. And the other congressman has also come out. Republican Congressman Justin Amash told the Grand Rapids Press, the language of the bill is carefully crafted to mislead the public, that it is the greatest tyranny we've ever seen. It is. Lock you up, throw away the key, or kill you.
Attention GCN listeners.
By the way, we've got another report dug out of the Threat Fusion Center, MIAC-type reports that are constantly being leaked to the public. It's up at Infowars.com. Oklahoma City investigator groups, some of which have members like State Rep Charles Key and others, General Benton K. Parton, former head of Air Force Weapons Development, 3-star general, are listed as terrorist groups. And I've got another article here where mainline peaceful anti-war groups are. Well, of course, anyone politically involved, left, right, libertarian, you are being watched. And they get these right-wing type guys to spy on the left and left-wing guys to spy on the right. And in between that, they've got everything covered. I noticed that Brandon Darby writes for Big Government. And Andrew Breitbart does some good work. I don't think he knows all about Brandon Darby, the fellow who was operating here in Austin, the informant with the